dream sense and slip, say, 75 years of subjective time into 8 hours of sleep. You would, I suppose, start out by fulfilling all your wishes. You could design for yourself what would be the most ecstatic life. Love affairs, banquets, dancing girls, wonderful journeys, love affairs, banquets, dancing girls, wonderful journeys, gardens, music beyond belief. Music beyond belief. Music beyond belief. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. And then after a couple of months of this sort of thing at 75 years a night, you would be getting a little taste for something different. You would move over to an adventurous dimension where there were certain dangers involved and the thrill of dealing with dangers. And you could rescue princesses from dragons and go on dangerous journeys, make wonderful explosions and blow them up. Eventually get into contest with enemies. And after you've done that for some time, you'd think up a new wrinkle to forget that you were dreaming, so that you would think it was all for real, and to be anxious about it, because it'd be so great when you woke up. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. And then you'd say, well, like children who dare each other on things, how far out could you get? What could you take? What dimension of being lost, of abandonment of your power, what dimension of that could you stand? You could ask yourself this, because you know you'd eventually wake up. After you'd gone on doing this, you see, for some time, you would suddenly find yourself sitting around in this room with all your personal involvement, problems, etc., talking with me. How do you know that's not what you're doing? Could be. Because after all, what would you do if you were God? I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. 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 I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. What would you do if you were God? 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 God? What would you do if you were God? Looking at it from another way, we push technology to its furthest possible development. And we had, instead of a dial telephone on one's desk, a more complex system of buttons. And one touch, beep, would give you anything you want. Aladdin's lamp. You would eventually have to introduce a button labeled surprise. 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 Because all perfectly known futures, as I pointed out, are past. They have happened. Virtually. It is only the true future is a surprise. It is only the true future is a surprise. So if you were God, you would say to yourself, man, get lost. And it's strange that this idea is obscurely embedded in the Christian tradition, when in the Epistle to the Philippians, St. Paul speaks of God the Son, the Logos, the Word of God, who is incarnate in Christ, and says, let this mind be in you which was also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God, thought not equality with God a thing to be clung to, but made himself of no reputation, and humbled himself, and was found in fashion as a man, and became obedient to death. Same idea. Same idea as the idea of the dream. That very far out dream. Same idea as the idea of the dream. That very far out dream. Same idea as the idea of the dream. That very far out dream. Same idea as the idea of the dream. Getting as extreme as you can get. As you can get. As you can get. And so this then is the basis of the Hindu view of the universe and of man. The Hindu looks upon the universe as a drama. The Westerner, of course, looks upon the universe as a construct, as something made. And it is not therefore insignificant that Jesus was the son of a carpenter. The Chinese looks upon the universe as an organism, as we shall subsequently see. But the dramatic idea is basic to Hinduism. Now you can speak about Hinduism on two levels at least. One I will call the metaphysical level, and the other the mythological level. If you speak on the metaphysical level, you can speak only in negative language. You can say what the divine, the ultimate reality, is not. If you speak on the mythological level, you may speak of what the divine is like. Because myth is not a falsehood, as one uses the word in a sophisticated way. A myth is an image, a concrete image, in terms of which man makes sense of the world. religions distinguish equally between two kinds of theological language, which are respectively called cataphatic and apophatic. Apophatic language is negative, as when we say God is infinite and eternal. Cataphatic language is mythological, as when we say God the Father, God is love, and all the positive designations. We are not saying God is a cosmic male parent, but is analogous with the Father. We are not saying God is a cosmic male parent, but is analogous with the Father. We are not saying God is a cosmic male parent, but is analogous with the Father. So with Hinduism. What I'm going to speak to you in, first of all, is the mythological language of Hinduism. The idea of the universe as the big act. The universe is God playing hide and seek with himself. For God is thought of fundamentally to the Hindu as the self, the cosmic I. It is a basic proposition for the Hindu, that only the self, the Godhead, is real. Only the self, the Godhead, is real. Only the self, the Godhead, is real. There is nothing other than the Godhead. There is nothing other than the Godhead. The appearance, the feeling that there are other things than the Godhead is called Maya. Is called Maya. We ordinarily translate that word illusion. But you must be careful about the word illusion. Illusion is related to the Latin ludere. And that means play. And this is why the analogy of the world is dramatic. It's a play. In the sense of a stage play. Now, when you go to the theater, you know what you're going to see is not for real. But the actor, and you will hope that he will be good at it, is going to try and persuade you that it's for real. So that he will so move you that you are crying or sitting in anxiety upon the edge of your chair. And so the audience is almost persuaded to be taken in. Now what about if this would happen with the very best actor of all? The great actor. The audience would, of course, be completely taken in. But in this case, of course, the actor and the audience are the same. The self. The self. The Godhead is real. Only the self, the Godhead is real. Only the self, the Godhead is real. Only the self, the Godhead is real. There is nothing other than the Godhead. There is nothing other than the Godhead.
Only the self, the Godhead. yourself. Your Godhead is real.
The self has thus the capacity to abandon itself, to forget itself, to hide from itself, and thus to make the most completely convincing illusion, but in play. And so the activity, the creative things, something basic, which is negative. There's a sort of the great. Let this you are see you are that thou art. Tut, of course, is first word uttered by a baby. And fathers flatter themselves that it's saying dada. It's not. It's saying that. Pointing to thatness in everything. It's very important to see this. Because everything is just that. I can say it in a negative way, which you won't appreciate at first, perhaps. Everything is meaningless. Everything is meaningless. Only words have meaning, because they point to something other than themselves. The sound water is undrinkable, but it points to the drinkable reality. When you say, though, what is that? Pointing at the water, and somebody says, water, he's not being correct. Because what you're pointing at is not the noise water. So it's not water. It's that. It's that. And water's a kind of jazz. It's just doing that. It's doing that. People are a kind of jazz. They talk and communicate with each other, but what does that mean? Well, they get together and they make more people, and they do this and they do that, and they do this and they do that, and they eat and they go on doing this jazz, but it's just jazz. But it's just jazz. But it's just jazz. But it's just jazz. Jazz. And you begin to see, as you do that, everything's like music, you see. It's all these complicated vibrations. In all kinds of ways. There's a myth. There is in the beginning the divine bird which lays the egg of the world. And the egg splits. And the upper is the heavens and the lower is the earth. So when the worlds are manifested, the Lord breathing out says, hung. And when the worlds are withdrawn, the breath comes back. But if you say hung, sa, hung, sa, hung, sa, hung, it becomes sa, hung, sa, sa, ahang. That means, sa means that, the truth, ahang, I am that. Imagine
when we get to the final moment in which the world is blown up. Imagine the countdown. This is the end. Somebody's pushed the button. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can sit and listen to the little waves on the seashore. And you'll get back here into this kind of thinking, and you're hearing the ocean of the universe going. And that's your breathing, too. It's all one rhythm. So it may be that every star was once a planet populated by intelligent people who found out about the fundamental energy of the universe, blew themselves up. And as they blew up, they scattered all kinds of stuff out, which became little planets. Which in a long time, life started all over again.
Sound of the wave. 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 Sound of the wave.
What are you listening to?
Sound of the wave. Sound of the wave. Sound of the wave.
What are you listening to?
Sound of the wave. Sound of the wave. Sound of the wave.
The Hindu theory is very odd. Every kalpa in the Manvantara period, the manifested world, is divided into 4 subdivisions of time, each one of which is called a yuga. That means roughly an epoch or an era. And there are 4 yugas, and they're named after the different throws in the Indian game of dice. There are 4 such throws, and the first is called Krita. That means, Kri means to do. That's when we say something is done, truly done. It's the perfect throw of 4. The second is called Treta, which is the throw of 3. The next is called Svapara, which is the throw of 2. And the final one is called Kali, which means the worst throw, which is the throw of 1. Now, each of these periods of the Kalpa are of different lengths. Krita is the longest, and Kali is the shortest, and so ranged. So that when the world is first manifested, as in those dreams that I were mentioning to you, the world is in a golden age to begin with. It is perfect. It is perfect. And that is the longest period of time. Then when we get a little bit more adventurous, you see, Treta means that in this era, a kind of disharmonious element enters into things. It's like a 3-legged chair isn't so secure as a 4-legged chair. It's just a bit inclined to tip. And as it were, a fly in the ointment, the snake in the garden. Then comes Dwapara, in which the forces of good and evil are equally balanced. And finally Kali, which is the shortest period, where the forces of evil are triumphant. And the world is destroyed at the end of it. For then the Godhead appears in the form of Shiva, who represents the destructive aspect of the divine energy, whereas Brahma is the creative, Vishnu the preserver, Shiva the destroyer. But Shiva is always the destroyer in the sense of the liberator, the guy who breaks up the ruts. And he comes on with a blue body and 10 arms, and a necklace of skulls. Indian gods have many arms, because they are cosmic centipedes. They do all
things without having to think about it. Like the centipede doesn't have to think about how to manipulate its legs. Like you don't have to think how to grow your hair. And as Shiva dances what is called the Tandava, which is the dance of destruction at the end of the cycle, at the end of the kalpa, you will see that his hands contain clubs and knives and bells. But one hand is like that. And that gesture means don't be afraid. It's a big act. It is all, as it were, the outflowing of your own consciousness, of your own mind.
The Hindu life is related to this cosmology. And the objective of life is, of course, in the end,
To wake up from the dream when you've had enough. And so the dreaming process is called sometimes samsara. Samsara is the round, the rat race. Samsara is divided into 6 divisions. This is the world of the Deva. This is the same root from which we get both divine and devil. But Deva means angel. The highest and most successful beings in the universe. And so opposite, this is the world of Naraka, who are the most unsuccessful. These are the purgatorial worlds of extreme suffering. This is the world of Ashura. They are also angels, but they're angry angels, representing the wrath potential of energy. This is the world of animals. This is the world of Preta, for which we have no English equivalent. They are hungry or frustrated spirits who have enormous stomachs but mouths only the size of needles, vast appetite and no means of fulfillment. And this is the Manu world, that is to say, the world of man. You don't have to take this literally. You could say, when you're extremely happy or ecstatic, you're here. When you are miserable, you're here. When you're dumb, you're here. When you're mad, you're here. When you're frustrated, you're here. But when you're more or less your normal, rational self, you're here. All life, through the period of the kalpas, goes grinding around this wheel. And if you go up, and you succeed, and you get to the top, you have to come down. They don't see success, in other words, in the world as a method of liberation, because it implies failure. But the idea of liberation, which is called moksha, is the ideal of Hindu life. Wake up, it's a dream. There is no hope in time. Everything is going to get worse in time. Because, as you know, it does. We all fall apart in the end. Everything falls apart. Institutions, buildings, nations, it all crumbles. And people say, well, that's an awfully pessimistic philosophy. Well, is it? Well, is it? I would rather say that the people who have hope in the future are the miserable people. Because they're like donkeys, chasing carrots that are dangled before their noses from sticks attached to their collars. And they pursue and they pursue in vain. Always hoping that tomorrow will be the great thing. The great thing. The great thing. Always hoping that tomorrow will be the great thing. The great thing. The great thing. And therefore incapable of enjoying themselves today. People who live for the future never get there. Because when their plans mature, they are not there to enjoy them. They're the sort of people who spend their lives saving for their old age. Lovely lips which you so delight to kiss today will in a few years rot and disclose the grinning teeth of the skull. So what? The skull says, lying in the grass, chattering finch and waterfly are not merrier than I. Here among the flowers I lie, laughing everlastingly. No, I may not tell the best. Surely, friends, I could have guessed. Death was but the good king's jest. It was hid so carefully. Monks used to keep skulls on their desks. And people nowadays think that was very morbid. Everything's falling apart. So don't try and stop it. When you're falling off a precipice, it doesn't do you any good to hang on to a rock that's falling with you.
But everything is doing that. And so, again, this is another case of our completely wasting our energy in trying to prevent the world from falling apart.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then you'll be able to do something interesting with the free energy. 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 Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. When the Hindu says everything is unreal, the Westerner reacts and says, no, you can't treat life as a dream. It's serious, it's real, it's for real. And what do you mean by that? And what do you mean by that? Well, how real do you want it to be? This is, in other words, everything, insofar as it's falling apart, everything is changing. It is like smoke. And we all feel that smoke has a lesser degree of reality than wood. It's an image of the evanescent, of the ghostly. So there's this idea the whole world is this mirage. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's only bad if you cling to it, if you try to lean on it. But if you don't lean on it, it's a grand illusion. So the word Maya means not only illusion, but it means art, it means magic, and it means creative power. So this is the big act. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then you'll be able to do something interesting with the free energy. With the free energy. With the free energy. Don't do it. And it's perhaps easier to feel the world in that way in a tropical country where death is very common and where you just watch things dissolve before your eyes and yet burst out and grow again. The whole world is changing. Maybe easier to think that way than in our environment. Although when you're out in California, the human landscape changes so fast that no town is the same for 2 years. Any mailing list that you have changes 1/3 addresses per annum. Nothing stays put. The hills are shadows and they flow from form to form and nothing stands.
This, you see, is not a pessimistic attitude, therefore, at all. To be able to realize that this world is simply a dream.
A dancing play of smoke. Fascinating, yes, but don't lean on it. Life is a bridge, says one of the Hindu sayings. Pass over it, but build no house upon it. And so immediately you see that. This is responsible for the enormous gaiety of certain Hindu sages. This is a thing that often puzzles Westerners. They expected anybody who's an ascetic or a sage or something to be rather miserable, with a glum face. But on the contrary, you take this character who's going around these days, Maharshi Mahesh, he's always laughing. Because he sees through it. He looks on every side, and there is the face of the beloved, of the divinity, in everybody, in every direction, in everything, playing at being you.
Playing at being you.
And you can look down into a person's eyes, way in, and you see the self, the eternal divine. And what is so funny, when it puts on an expression, saying, what, me? And the guru, the teacher. When people go to a guru, they get all sorts of funny ideas. They think, oh, he's looking right through me. He sees me through and through. He knows how awful I am. Reads my most secret thoughts. Because he has a funny look in his face. He isn't even interested in your secret thoughts. He's looking straight at the Godhead in you, with a funny expression on his face that is saying, why are you trying to kid me? Come off it, Shiva. I know who you are.
And therefore, you see, his role is to gently humor you into waking up as to your true nature. Now, of course, as I intimated earlier, the Hindu is therefore saying, everybody is God.
And our theologians get rather worried about that. Because, you see, the two conceptions of God are different. Our conception is of the boss man, the king. Theirs is of the cosmic centipede, with the many arms, who does not have to think how to make the world, how to make the world, how to make the world, or rather to act the world, how to make the world, how to make the world. That would be an insufferable nuisance. You may think it rather wonderful when St. Thomas tries to explain that God is fully aware of everything that happens, and in every detail is willing each single vibration of any mosquito's wing. But when you really begin to think about it, that approaches intellectual elephantiasis. God heard the embattled nation shout, God strafe England and God save the king. God this, God that, and God the other thing. But God said, God, I've got my work cut out. When somebody in India suddenly announces that he's God, nobody accuses him of blasphemy or of being insane. They say simply, congratulations, at last you found out. They don't immediately request a miracle. As you see, if we get across someone who says, I'm God or I'm Jesus Christ, they say what they said to Jesus Christ in the first place. Command that these stones be made bread. And you know, he used to wangle out of it by saying, your wicked and deceitful generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given. The Hindu would say, but there is no point in changing it. It's going the way I want it to anyhow. Only really and truly, God the technician, but rather the power of omnipotence. The power of omnipotence. The power of omnipotence is not to be able to do anything, but to be doing all things, whatever it is that's going on. The power of omnipotence, the power of omnipotence is not to be able to do anything, be able to do anything, is not to be able to do anything, but to be doing all things. The power of omnipotence, the power of omnipotence is not to be able to do anything, be able to do anything, is not to be able to do anything, but to be doing all things. The power of omnipotence, the power of omnipotence is not to be able to do anything, to be able to do anything, is not to be able to do anything, but divide life into certain stages, what are called the ashramas. The first is called brahmacharya, the second grihastha, and the third vanaprastha. Brahmacharya means the stage of the student, the apprenticeship. Grihastha, the stage of the householder. And vanaprastha, the stage of the forest dweller. This is related to cultural history of early India. Before we have agrarian communities, we have a hunting culture, which is on the move. In a hunting culture, every male knows the whole culture. There is no division of labor. And the holy man of the hunting culture is, of course, called a shaman. A shaman is a realized man, a man who knows the inner secret. He's seen through the game. And he finds it by going away alone into the forest and cutting himself off from the tribe. That is to say, from social conditioning. And he goes maybe for a long period into the forest and comes back. He's found out who he is. And he sure isn't who he was told he was. But as hunting cultures settle into agrarian patterns of life, what do? They build a village. And around the village, they set up a stockade, which is known as the pale. And the village is always, of course, standing at crossroads. And there you get in an agrarian society a division of labor. And the division of labor comprises four. In medieval Europe, we call them lords spiritual, lords temporal, commons, and serfs. In India, they are Brahmins, Kshatriya, that means fighters, Vaishya, merchants, traders, Shudra, laborers. So you've got the priests, the warriors, the merchants, and the laborers. Division of labor. The four sections of town. So the four basic castes. So when you are born into a caste, and your duty as a grihastha or householder is to fulfill your caste function and to bring up a family. When you've done that, you go back to the forest, back to the hunting culture, and you drop your role, and you become nobody. A shaman again. So a Hindu calls one who does this a shramana, which is of course the same word as shaman, and the Chinese call him a xia. A shaman is an immortal. Why immortal? Because it's only the role that's mortal. The big front, the persona. The one who you really are, the common man, that is to say the man who is common to us all, which you could call the son of man, that's the real self. That's the guy who's putting on the big act. And of course he has no name. Nobody can put the finger on it, because you can't touch the tip of the finger with the tip of the finger. That means in practice then, that when you hand over your vocation in life, which is called your svadharma, that means sva, that's the same as the Latin suus, one's own. Dharma means function, your own function, or we would call your vocation. When you've completed it, you drop out. And become nobody. Now, naturally, caste, holy men, and all that kind of thing can be exploited. Anything can be exploited. and abuse. And we can look at it all and say, what a mess.
Better than alcohol, man. Yeah, the funny thing. You know it's hard to.
Taking this ghastly risk is an act of faith and an act of gamble. The moment you take a step, you do so on an act of faith because you don't really know that the floor is not going to give under your feet. The moment you take a journey, what an act of faith. The moment you enter into any kind of human undertaking and relationship, what an act of faith. See, you've given yourself up. But this is the most powerful thing that can be done. Surrender. See, and love is an act of surrender to another person. Total abandonment. I give myself to you.
Lost in your love. Your love, your love, your love. Lost in your love. I wanna let you know that I would let go of it all, if only to make you whole. And I would not let you go. You don't have to do this alone. I promise to make you whole. Lost in your love, your love, your love, your love. Lost in your love, 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 love.
Just lost in your love. Yeah, feels like I can't breathe. When I'm around you, I can't speak. Yeah, I lose focus and I can't see. It's all faded like I'm in a dream. But I feel you here. You're not around, but I feel you near. The light of your presence, it burns. No one can't hold you, but I'll hold you dear. I haven't felt this before, but I've never been more sure. You're 1,000 miles away, cold, but I still feel your warmth. And with the love comes fear. I will step into the dark and hope to meet your open arms, touching your palms against the raw scars of my heart, yeah. So I'll give it to you all, even though I'm afraid of the fall. Hold my heart with both hands, yeah. Be as careful as you can.
There's a myth. There is in the beginning the divine bird which lays the egg of the world. And the egg splits. And the upper is the...
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So, he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusions. By thoughts, I mean specifically chatter in the skull, perpetual and compulsive repetition of words, of reckoning and calculating. I'm not saying that thinking is bad. Like everything else, it's useful in moderation. A good servant, but a bad master. And all so-called civilized peoples have increasingly become crazy and self-destructive because through excessive thinking they have lost touch with reality. That's to say, we confuse science with the real world.
meditation.
Most of us would have rather money than tangible wealth, and a great occasion is somehow spoiled for us unless photographed. And to read about it the next day in the newspaper is oddly more fun for us than the original event. This is a disaster. For as a result of confusing the real world of nature with mere signs, we are destroying nature. We are so tied up in our minds that we've lost our senses. Time to wake up. What is reality? Obviously, no one can say because it isn't words. It isn't material, that's just an idea. Reality is
the point cannot be explained in words. I'm not trying to put you down. It's an expression of you as you are. One must live. We need to survive, to go on. We must go on.
Beyond all polarities, I am. Let the judgments and opinions of the mind be judgments and opinions of the mind, and you exist behind that. Ah, so. Ah, so. It's really time for you to see through the absurdity of your own predicament. You aren't who you thought you were. You just aren't that person. And in this very lifetime, you can know it. Right now. The real work you have to do is in the privacy of your own heart. All of the external forms are lovely. But the real work is your inner connection. you're quiet when you meditate, if you truly open your heart, just quiet your mind. Open your heart. Quiet the mind, open the heart. How do you quiet the mind? You meditate. How do you open the heart? You start to love that which you can love and just keep expanding it. You love a tree, you love a river, you love a leaf, you love a flower, you love a cat, you love a human. But go deeper and deeper into that love. Till you love that which is the source of the light behind all of it. Behind all of it. You don't worship the gate, you go into the inner temple. Everything in you that you don't need, you can let go of. You don't need loneliness, or you couldn't possibly be alone. You don't need greed because you already have it all. You don't need doubt because you already know. The confusion is saying, I don't know. But the minute you are quiet, you find out that in truth you do know. For in you, you know. Plane after plane will open to you. I want to know who I really am. As if in each of us, there once was a fire. And for some of us, there seem as if there are only ashes now. But when we dig in the ashes, we find one ember, and very gently we fan that ember. Blow on it. It gets brighter. And from that ember, we rebuild the fire. Only thing that's important is that ember. That's what you and I are here to celebrate. That though we've lived our life totally involved in the world, we know. We know that we're of the Spirit. Gets stronger, flame starts to flicker a bit. And pretty soon you realize that all we're going to do for eternity is sit around the fire.
The great Tao flows everywhere, both to the left and to the right. It loves and nourishes all things, but does not lord it over them. And when merits are accomplished, it lays no claim. Because trying to understand the world purely by thinking about it is as clumsy a process as trying to drink the Pacific Ocean out of a pint beer mug. The real you. So the whole idea of nature is something happening of itself without a government. It's always and forever elusive. One is not really separate. You think so? Awaken from the illusion is then to undergo a radical change of consciousness with regard to one's own existence.
I don't know about that. Some of them maybe, but I think some of them just don't have discipline. There's also an issue with momentum. You're not used to doing it. It's not a part of your life. It's not something that you're accustomed to pushing yourself. There's been many days where I didn't want to work out. I just didn't feel like I had the energy, and I just forced myself. And I think there's very few people out there that know how to force themselves. That's a learned skill. You have to have like real rigid requirements of yourself where you don't allow yourself to back out of things.
Hero.
also mental aspects of it, and discipline's a big one. I just know way too many people who are weak mentally. I can't just chalk it off to only the way they physically feel. Because I felt like shit 100 times, and then I worked out, and then I felt way better. It's just a fact of life. That's real.
Do something. Do something. Do something. Do something. Do something. Do something.
People don't know how to do that.
Something.
And if you're used to doing that, get in your car, sit down, drive to the office, sit down, go to the lunch, sit down, go to the board meeting, sit down, get in your car, sit down, get home, sit down, then go to the gym. Fuck off. It's one thing if someone has a legit physical issue, but there's a lot of people who do not. They just have poor diet choices, they have a sedentary lifestyle, and they have the momentum of this sedentary lifestyle that's holding them back. They're accustomed to being lazy. You don't have to do a lot, you just have to do something. You walk up hills, you jump a little rope, you take a little tiny kettlebell, you do a couple cleans and presses, you do a few push-ups, you do a few sit-ups, you get your blood pumping, you're moving, you're alive. To say you don't have enough energy to exercise, that is crazy to say. Can you walk to the fucking refrigerator? Yes. Well, you can exercise.
I could never imagine the pain in the mother's heart when life takes a turn for the worse and creator's art becomes another canvas that will never be completed. I'm a few degrees away and 1,000 times defeated. My energy's depleted, but I wanna stand and fight, swinging with the spirits that have traveled back into the light. I feel the tears and depression, fears and aggression, woven in society from years of oppression. The violence is normalized, silence is horrifying, truth is denied, and the fact is that more are dying. You don't have to tell me how you feel, 'cause I can hear it in their cries. It's hard to listen, but listen, 'cause it's much harder living it than listening to the hardships. So the heart's conditioned to condition the air. When the air, their conditions keep cool, but the more tears, sometimes it clear the vision. Now what I see, been a long time coming to drop, running, rocking, reaching new peaks, so them youngins can finally summit, climbing high above and then flying from it up to the skies, and overstanding the corruption and deconstructing the lies. I've seen this country decline, try to keep discussions confined, hide the underside, over extract and try to undermine. Damn, but I still believe in the truth. Whether it's an MC in the booth or a PhD in the suit. Yo, when we yell and protest, tell them the feeling is peaceful. We profess, we testify to the will of the people. Tell them what they must know. Turn it up loud when we bust flows, not in hushed tones. Speaking up, let the trust grow. Now you don't gotta tell me how you feel, 'cause I can see it in your eyes. You don't gotta tell me that the pain is real, 'cause I can hear it in your cry.
One way of conception.
My sins.
Every social animal, and even many animals who aren't social, are embedded in a dominance hierarchy.
Okay, let's go.
The dominance hierarchy has a structure. We couldn't call it a dominance hierarchy. Dominance hierarchy A, B, C, thousands of them across thousands of years. What's central to all of them? That's the pyramid of value. What question do you need answered about the pyramid of value? What's at the top? Because that's the ideal. That's the I at the transcendence of suffering, 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 the voluntary acceptance and therefore transcendence of suffering. These are not arbitrary ideas. They're deeply rooted in biology and culture. They're as deeply rooted in biology as the dominance hierarchy is rooted in biology. And we already know the answer to that. The dominance hierarchy has been around for 350 million years. It's a long time. You don't get to just brush that off and say, well, morality is some sort of second-order cognitive problem. It's like, no, it's not. You have a counter at the bottom of your brain that keeps track of where you are in terms of your status, and it bloody well regulates the sensitivity of your emotions. So if you're at the bottom of the hierarchy, barely clinging on to the world, everything overwhelms you, and that's because you're damn near dead. And so everything should overwhelm you. You've got no extra resources. You're sunk. And if you're nearer the top, then your serotonin levels go up. You're less sensitive to negative emotion. You're less impulsive. You live longer. Everything works in your system, functions better, and you're oriented at least to some degree towards the medium and long-term future. And you can afford that because all hell isn't breaking loose around you all the time. And so then the question is there a way of being that increases the probability that you're going to move up dominance hierarchies? Well, that doesn't seem to be a particularly provocative proposition. The same thing as the crucifix. And that has to do with something like the voluntary acceptance and therefore transcendence of suffering. 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 The voluntary acceptance and therefore transcendence of suffering. Okay, so back to Jung. See, Jung believed that once we had stopped populating the cosmos with gods, that they went inside. Think about it this way. Archaic person looks at the sky, uses his imagination to populate the sky. What's the sky? Well, it's the constellations. It's the domain of the gods. Well, why? Because the gods are what are out there beyond your understanding. Well, that's what you see when you look up at the sky. So you populate the night sky with figures of your imagination. So the gods are the things that you broadcast out of your imagination and see spread over the world. It's like the contents of your unconscious are manifesting themselves when you encounter the unknown. It's exactly what it is. How else could it be? You're projecting your fantasy onto what you don't understand. That's how you start to cope with what you don't understand. You populate the unknown with deities. Where did they come from? They came from your imagination. Well, what happens when you take them out of the world? Do they disappear? No, they just go back into your imagination. That's the same motif as rescuing your dead father from the belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Rescuing your dead father from the belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Rescuing your dead father from the belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. It's the same idea. Is that the corpses of the gods inhabit your imagination. You go into your imagination. Imagination.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. The one guy swung on the other guy, and after he hit him once, they...
Yeah. Type 3. the foam as a quantum burst. On the journey from the plane through the omniverse. The shortest distance you can travel at the speed of light. Watch me take the same path as the neutrinos flight. Shot forward, zooming past the top court, where the space-time and energy roads do not fork. I've been slept on since the electron, Westbourne, home of the place that'll leave your chest warm. Photonic crystals are my playthings, rap at this scale, spoken in gamma ray wavelengths. Blaze beats, on my way to H3, unstable combustible isotopes at great heat. Fluid like a Mickey Mouse molecule, breaking down all atomic rules on the follow-through. I traverse the alpha helix, on the way to complex chemistry, you're bound to see it. Deoxyribonucleic secrets in the deep end. As I keep the beat and sow the seeds of reason. The only heathen that can bring you cell replication. Shoot questions dead through the barrel of investigation. Separation, two strands. Introduce RNA into the sequence. Then you'll get a new hand. Puffin' Chiba with amoeba. Debating which came first, consciousness or the creature. With tapeworms. Cannabis tea poured from Russell's teapot. To toast to every person to ever win an EGOT. Pack the stadium, the size of a coliseum. Skyscrapers, high-risers, tetrahedrons. Give me a beat and an ounce of leaf, and I'll show you things from the crease of the mountain peaks. Stay artful as I chop countries to state parcels. Leave the planet completely, become a space marshal. On the red plains, exploring the Mars dunes. Scrutinize asteroid debris and small moons. Who you talking to? I spit the cold fission. Visit every world near, then leave the solar system. Only one of many. All the space in between here and there is cold, and much of it is empty. Still come across a nebula or two, a couple of parsecs, and we've only gone a few. The void we launch into, from Orion's arm. Starships, galaxy class, we flying on. Galactic following, barely known in a local group. Training all alone, near large voids evoking truth. Take it in, let it sober you. As we go out to get a better seat of the overview. An ocean of space engulfing you. With so many superclusters, they're singular in multitude. Every single one, from Leo to Pavo Indus. I've traveled it all, from Columba to Ophiuchus. I break jaws with the great wall of galaxies and filaments that would face all. One existence of distances that you might fear. From end to end, that's over 1 billion light years. In a sea of universes, it's a bubble in. And this is from the human's perch at the Hubble length. At scales like this, I find it troubling. How can I describe one branch when there are other limbs? Fleeing singularities while they're doubling. Coming out the face of multiverse right in front of him. Nowhere to hide, the vast smothers him.
system knocking honey cocaine. With a couple members of my gang. Kicking ass, taking names, cush in the air, got me feeling hella scatterbrained. I do my thing, it don't matter what set I claim. They respect, I spit that flame. Real, recognize, real, rep my town, that'll never change. Do it big, keep it strange. Never been a nigga that'll fit in with the lames. I'll be hood until the death, I have it inked into my flesh. You know that is no type of set, this brotherhood, now please respect it. Should be hard to go forget, bro, I'm really with the shit. They heard me on that shit with tech, now groupies treat me like a vet. Whoa, chillin' like a villain, paint drippin', not killing. Cash checks, not stealing, God willing, make $1 million. Stay written, sitting on the world, spitting where to find kitten. Think I'm bullshitting, use a silly one. I do it big, I keep it straight. I'm kicking that, and taking that. I do my thing, I do my thing, I do my thing, I do my thing. I do it big, I keep it straight. I'm kicking that, and taking that. I do my thing, I do my thing, I do my thing, I do my thing. The system want me dead or in a cell. Mama wanna see me graduate from Yale. All you haters wanna see me fail. I just wanna hit the stage and watch you motherfuckers yell. JL, you know what it is. Ever since I was a kid, they gravitated to a nigga. Everybody told me I was gonna do it big, I did. They became infatuated with the way I spit, fascinated with it fast, made them a grip learning. When you just do your thing, you start earning. If you really want it, you gotta get it yourself. Enemies fall on the bridges, they burning. Do what I love, accumulate the wealth, but to get the dough, coming in clumps, word to Sherman. From the bottom, but I do my thing. Up in a strange land, everybody know my name. They know I'm gonna hit them with a joke I flame. Obtain what I'm looking for, real plain on games. I'm chillin' like a villain, paint drippin', not killing. Cash checks, not stealing. God willing, make $1 million. Stay written, sitting on the world, spitting where to find kitten. Think I'm bullshitting, use a silly one. I do it big, I keep it straight. I'm kicking that, and taking that. I do my thing, I do my thing, I do my thing, I do my thing. I do it big, I keep it straight. I'm kicking that, and taking that. I do my thing, I do my thing, I do my thing, I do my thing.
What should move forward in time with me, and what should be let go as if it's dead wood. The more dead wood that you let go of and burn off when you have the opportunity, the less it accretes around you. Dead wood. Dead wood. Wood.
It doesn't.
What is your name?
Yuna.
What do you like most about singing? What do you like about singing songs? All of the nations, I see the light in your eyes, the light in your eyes, 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 to all the relations, all of the nations, all of the nations, all of the nations, all of the house on the railroad, kicking my truth for the echo. All through the web, yo, I see it told me the trickster, he ain't in my head up. This ain't commercially techno, industry side, hell no. Still sound like a Dell though, and kicking the door with a hello. This is my prayer, this is my vibe. This for the people, this for my tribe. We live with the strength that come from inside. The 100 relations, all of the nations. I see the light in your eyes, 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 the light in your eyes. The 100 relations, all of the nations, all of the nations, nations. The 100 relations, all of the nations. I see the light, light, light in your eyes, light in your eyes, light in your eyes, light in your eyes, light in your eyes. The 100 relations, I see the light, 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 light,
First of all, first and foremost, my introduction. My spirit name is Little Eagle. There's a lot of things that I really, really want to try to pursue before it's my time to journey on to the other side. And one of them was to instill my spiritual life within my grandkids. And as you all have seen or heard, my granddaughter Yuna picks up that where I'm gonna leave off when I leave this earth to journey to the other side. So that song that you guys collaborated on, it's called Wachekiayo. It says prayer. Wachekiayo. That means pray. It's simple, yeah. It's the first song that she sang for her mom, which was heartfelt, and most of the elders were very moved by her singing, which I thought was, it blew me away to actually see my granddaughters and my grandsons dancing with me. Not many men are blessed with that opportunity of dancing with the grandkids, which I was. It's a blessing. Uichakmi na huksila na mitako la kelina. Chanupole spelki mashtektila. The songs and the etiquette of the ceremony with them. With these things, I'm very, very blessed to have some grandkids that are picking up where I'm going to be on. It's my spiritual role. The red roller, so to speak. But there you are.
Where we go from here, if I lead a block. A little money fine, but I need a lot. Take a preacher's route, but don't lie to people. I ain't never seen anything in the sky. Clean in the ride, what I mean, and I'm fly with a pitch super mean, but lean to the side. I was thinking about it, it means I could try. I believe in a high. Being logical gave me a reason to doubt. Scheme for the things I was dreaming. In the magazine article reading about. Face card, I ain't got to pay for drugs. It come free with the artificial luck. I just do me, let me be me. I ain't arguing for much. I'm with this bitch and I feel free. She don't demand of me for much. My sex drive been at an all-time low. Can barely get it up. Trying to keep another motherfucker happy. Swear I'm giving up.
Drug usage is increasing since the last time. Ain't for a while and I'll be back just like the last time.
Racks on me, stacks on me. Travel hard, one nation under guard. In the car alone, praying to the stars, engine roaring. Make a joy for noise, praise be to Allah. Come this far and all, cocaine from a car. Look who taking off, throwing money, yeah, my nigga. Younger sister really wishing he was with us, but look who taking off. A man for you to keep, love, I'm finna leave. So I guess I'm taking good-hearted. If you think wrong, how could you be right? 4 niggas fucking the same bitch. She pop up pregnant, this can't be like. Get rid of the bitch before I get rid of you, bitch.
God, I can't drop it. Tell them until I'm ready to live in it.
Give a hard law.
Some sort of a clover, stress recycle shit over and over. Fuck the world, these days shit colder. Friends fake, but all that I want is to get older. Feeling the pressure like everyone watching. The bell keep on ringing like something that's boxing. My son having seizures, no doctor can stop him. Hold on to him with all I got, I can't drop him. My spirit been broke, I pray somebody swap him. My heart feeling pain like if somebody shot him. My brother keep calling, I tell him I got him. It's just nothing promise, I'm going without him. My auntie just died, I can cry, I just kissed her. Showed up my visit, they told me I missed her. Looked up to God, open heaven, can list us somewhere in this kingdom with both of my sisters. So in my zone, nigga, fuck if I'm tripping. My testimony, something niggas should listen. Been 32 years, but I'm still on that mission. The struggle got a nigga hooked like I'm fishing.
So you see, there's something going on. This web may be looked at as pattern, and the world is basically patterning. What else do you do when you come to think of it? What else do you do when you come to think of it? When you eat, you are turning food into the pattern of your skeleton, your muscles, and your nervous system. That's a pattern. And you say, you see, basically, hooray for that pattern. That's a pattern. And you say, you see, basically, hooray for that pattern. But then you want other patterns. You like to look through a microscope and see the patterns that exist in the small world. And see the patterns. You like to look through a kaleidoscope or a teleidoscope and see the patterns. You like to have paintings around and see the patterns. You like to watch the water play and see the patterns. You want to watch the birds go, and the clouds, and all that. Fascinating patterns. And that really does, doesn't it, seem to be the point. I mean, what do you do when you're very rich? Take some rascal of ancient times who became very rich by all sorts of skullduggery and warfare and so on. He got himself a suit of armor, a beautiful sword. And he had the armorer make the most intricate patterns, arabesques of inlaid gold on the steel. Why? Because it's, as they say among the Pennsylvania Dutch, it's for nice. It's a great thing to have all that jazz. And that's what we go for. That's a pattern. And you say, you see, basically, hooray for that pattern. That's a pattern. And you say, you see, basically, hooray for that pattern. But then you want other patterns. You like to look through a microscope and see the patterns that exist in the small world. And see the patterns. You like to look through a kaleidoscope or a teleidoscope and see the patterns. You like to have paintings around and see the patterns. You like to watch the water play and see the patterns. You want to watch the birds go and the clouds and all that. Fascinating patterns. Perfect.
Tell me, would you even hear it if you're the only one who sees it? Can tell if it's make-believe or I'm in a dream and you're 1,000 times. Had me up until the morning, calling her without a warning. Can tell if it's make-believe or I'm in a dream. Have I lost my mind? 'Cause I'm holding on to the feeling. Through hell and back to
Well, the argument for the simulation, I think, is quite strong. Because if you assume any improvements at all over time, any improvement, 1%, 0.1%, just extend the time frame, make it 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. A civilization, if you're very generous, civilization is maybe 7,000 or 8,000 years old. If you count it from the first writing. This is nothing. This is nothing. If you assume any rate of improvement at all, then games will be indistinguishable from reality. Or civilization will end. One of those two things will occur. Anyway, I don't want to sound like things are too dark, because I think you kind of have to be optimistic about the future. There's no point in being pessimistic. It's just too negative. It doesn't help. You know, I think you want to be... my theory is you'd rather be optimistic. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. At least we're on that side. Because if you're pessimistic, you're just going to be miserable. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Ultimately, even if we just sort of existed as humans forever, eventually that'd be like the heat death of the universe. A zillion years from now. Eventually it's going to end. It's just a question of when. So it really is all about the journey. The universe as we know it will dissipate into a fine mist of cold nothingness eventually. And I think it's really just about how can we make it last longer. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. I think most likely, this is just about probability, there are many, many simulations. These simulations are, you might as well call them reality, or you could call them multiverse. And they're running on the substrate. That substrate is probably boring. When we create a simulation, like a game or a movie, it's a distillation of what's interesting about life. It takes a year to shoot an action movie. And then that's all distilled down into 2 or 3 hours. So let me tell you, if you see an action movie being filmed, it's boring. Super boring. It takes lots of takes. Everything's in a green screen. Looks pretty goofy. Doesn't look cool. But once you add the CGI and have great editing, it's amazing. So I think most likely, if we're a simulation, it's really boring outside the simulation. Because why would you make a simulation that's boring? It makes a simulation way more interesting than base reality. When you're in that virtual reality, which is only going to get better, where are you? Where are you really? You aren't anywhere. You're in the computer.
Why do you think you're where you are right now? You might not be.
Right now you think you're in a studio in LA.
Akira.
You might be in a computer. Yeah. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and right. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Than pessimistic and
Sci-fi, vision, spotlight, on my life, twisted, twilight, zone. Sci-fi, vision, spotlight, on my life, twisted, twilight, zone. Where's everybody? This'll be one for the angels, this'll be one for the ages. We're making that run for the payload. I had a nightmare as a child, it was a nightmare, 20,000 feet. Might just break it down, and we might just take it 20,000 leagues. Got time enough at last, I'm not trying to rush it fast. I'm just trying to have a convo, silence of the lambs. And I'm in love with lambs, but I couldn't take the silence. I just had to take the pilot seat, I just had to make the dive in. I'm going down to different zones, down to different limits. Not the typical, not the same dimension, not where they could go, not where they been living. Dropping something on them, not what they been thinking. Hitchhiking to a nice place to visit in the nick of time. Might just make a killing in a world of its own. I am the beholder in a world of difference. Sci-fi, vision, spotlights, on my life, twisted, twilight, zone. Sci-fi, vision, spotlights, on my life, twisted, twilight, zone.
What have we found? Where do we land? Where do we go? What happens now? They can't understand. We in the zone, straight to the dome. Where does it lead? Location unknown. Tripping now, tripping, trickling down. We get the zone. Give me that boost, give me that boost. Let me get a sip of that juice. Give me that good, some of that nana. Let me get loose. Give me that booch. I apologize if I'm being too forward. It's not so black and white. I just wanted to show her. The way you let that go got me stuck in that twilight zone. I feel like E.T. when you feed me. I need you to come back home now. Give me that juice, oh yeah. Some of that booch, boy, yeah. Fuck around, da 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 da. Give me that shower for yeah. Oh yeah. Sit back, show ya. Did enough, enjoy it. Oh yeah, unlimited, continuous, gratuitous, I'm all yours. Oh yeah, scary movie with that late night treatment. You want that extra butter, bitch? You can save my seat then.
Sci-fi, vision, spotlight, on my life, twisted, twilight, zone. Sci-fi, vision, spotlight, on my life, twisted, twilight, zone.
What have we found? Where do we land? Where do we go? What happens now? They can't understand. We in the zone, straight to the dome. Where does it lead? Location unknown. Tripping now, tripping, trickling down. We get the zone.
Where's everybody? Where's everybody? Where's everybody? Where's everybody? Sci-fi, vision, spotlights, on my life, twisted, twilight, zone. Sci-fi, vision, spotlight.
Yeah. Listen, only here to be a legend, here to bust up all the metric. What's a now? Just a second, I devour. Competition, taking losses, not accepted. You a G, but I'm a legend, breaking laws and breaking physics. Yeah, I'll never quit, but I'm conceited. I was never broke, I call it pre-rich. Legacy greater than the achievements. Legendary is my only prefix. Don't belong in the 7, don't belong in this time. I should be in 67, 88, 95. Don't belong in this era. I'm the greatest all time. Only kings live forever. I ain't never gonna die. I'm a legend, greatest ever anytime. I'm a legend. I ain't never gonna die. I'm a legend, greatest ever anytime. I'm a legend. I ain't never gonna die. Legend. Legend. I'm a legend. Listen, making hits and dropping singles, stacking chips like they some Pringles. I don't miss, I always hit you, copper whip. Push your reno, I insist. I get into anything that's essential to the wins that I'ma get you. Take a in the car from a beast, I'm a dog. Separate from a boss, I'm the owner of it all. I'm the reason in the why. I'm the alpha, zeta, phi. I'm erasing every line, I'm the greatest man alive. Don't belong in this era, don't belong in this time. I should be in 67, 88, 95. Don't belong in this era, I'm the greatest all time. Only kings live forever, I ain't never gonna die. I'm a legend, greatest ever anytime. I'm a legend, I ain't never gonna die. I'm a legend, greatest ever anytime. I'm a legend, I ain't never gonna die. Legend, legend, I'm a legend. Repeating all my lessons till you on my level. I don't never lose and I ain't never failing. I ain't never lie, I do not embellish. You say I'm not a legend, I ain't never mad. Ain't niggas something I ain't never mad. I do never lose and I ain't never failing. I don't never lie, I do nothing else. I'm a legend. I'm a legend. I'm a legend. I'm a legend. Legendary. Legend. Legend.
You know, if you take people and you expose them voluntarily to things that they are avoiding and are afraid of, you know, that they know they need to overcome in order to meet their goals, their self-defined goals. If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger. And you don't know what the upper limits to that are, because you might ask yourself, like, if for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, by your own definitions, right, within the value structure that you've created, to the degree that you've done that, what would you be like? 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 There are remarkable people who come into the world from time to time, and there are people who do find out over decades-long periods what they could be like if they were who they were. If they spoke their being forward, and they get stronger and stronger and stronger, and we don't know the limits to that. We do not know the limits to that. And so you could say, well, in part, perhaps the reason that you're suffering unbearably can be left at your feet, because you're not everything you could be, and you know it. You know it. You know it. Because you're not everything you could be, and you know it. You know it. You know it. What would you be like? 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 And of course, that's a terrible thing to admit, and it's a terrible thing to consider, but there's real promise in it, right? Because it means that perhaps there's another way that you could look at the world and another way that you could act in the world. So what it would reflect back to you would be much better than what it reflects back to you now. Imagine that many people did that. We've done a lot as human beings. We've done a lot of remarkable things. And I told you already today, for example, about 250,000 people will be lifted out of abject poverty. We're lifting people out of poverty collectively at a faster rate that's ever occurred in the history of humankind by a huge margin. So there's inequality developing in many places, and you hear lots of political agitation about that. But overall, the tide is lifting everyone up, and that's a great thing. We have no idea how fast we can multiply that if people got their act together and really aimed at it. If people got their act together and really aimed at it. What would you be like? 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 My experience is with people that we're probably running at about 51% of our capacity. ask how many hours a day you waste or how many hours a week you waste, the classic answer is something like 4 to 6 hours a day. Inefficient studying, watching things that not only do you not want to watch, that you don't even care about, that make you feel horrible about watching after you're done. That's probably 4 hours right there. Well, that's 25 hours a week. It's 100 hours a month. That's 2.5 full work weeks. It's half a year of work weeks per year. You're wasting $50,000 a year, and you are doing that right now. And so if your life isn't everything it could be, you could ask yourself, what would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you? You'd be, who knows how much more efficient, 10 times more efficient, 20 times more efficient. You have no idea how efficient people get. It's completely, it's off the charts. What would you be like? 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 Well, and if we all got our act together collectively and stop making things worse, because that's another thing people do all the time. Not only do they not do what they should to make things better, they actively attempt to make things worse because they're spiteful or resentful or arrogant or deceitful or homicidal or genocidal or all of those things all bundled together in an absolutely pathological package. Pathological package. Pathological package. If people stop really, really trying just to make things worse, we have no idea how much better they would get just because of that. So you might say, well, what would happen if you abided by your conscience for 5 years? What sort of position might you be in? What would you be like? 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 What would you be like?
Okay, look, I know mischievous people got me uneasy with people. How come the selfish and greediest people always seem like they're the neediest people? I don't need hidden agendas. I can't believe we were that close. You know I went at this flat out, but you thought if I made it, you cash out. Oh yeah, I know. You complain about what I didn't do. You should think about what I did for you instead of ridicule. Get a different view, but you don't. I don't need fake smiles and a slick talk. I know you can't wait till I slip up and talk a real life, not just hip hop. But you know, if you don't care, keep it genuine. You can talk that shit till the end of time, but don't try to front. You ain't a friend of mine. I need some loyalty. Some try to apologize for the unforgiven. Some got your back, some stab you in it. Cold love.
I got love for you. Yes, I do, but are you really true? Cause you too good at playing cool. Thinking what you do. What do I do? I gave all my time and seconds. I was up to you. You don't care. You don't care.
Cold love. It's cold love.
You don't care. You don't care. You don't care. You don't care.
Money does good things, does evil things. Pulls people strings, it makes egos big. It makes people kings and do deceitful things. I know. When they asked about me, you would show me love. Now they asking you, just kinda shoulder shrug. You used to hold me up, now you're cold as fuck, my bro. I don't need fake love or fake lap dance. I don't need anybody trying to take from me, trying to fuck me over like the tax man. I don't. So I walked out quick on the in crowd, cause I know now who really been down. Those who stuck around and never skipped town. And don't try to congratulate me on my success, when as soon as I leave the room you still comment on what I do and how I dress. High school shit. Take a puff or two just to get me through. Feeling cynical, but that's typical. Need to hold up from that cold love, cause you.
Yes, I do, but are you really true? Cause you too good at playing cool. Thinking what you do, what do I do? I gave all my time and seconds, I was up to you. You don't care. You don't care.
Yeah, cold love, it's cold love.
You don't care. You don't care. You don't care.
When it's real shit, when it's real shit. Every night, when every night. When it's real shit, when it's real shit. Every night, when every night.
Shiver me timbers, I feel the love cold in December. That bitter wind keeps blowing in, looking for someone to soak it in, and it's making me shiver. I'm pushing on through the winter, cause they say that they want me to win, but that's only if it does something for them. It's cold love.
Been at this shit all day, back and forth all day. Want this shit my way, want this shit your way. It's gon' be okay, this shit ain't okay. I'm tryna find a way, shawty, what's the way? Been at this for so long, what is there to say? It's always something wrong, Danny every day. Off and then we young, ain't got no time to play. Ain't tryna come out strong, but shawty, what's the way? Always upset and you heated. I say something, you don't believe me. Girl, you got a bad habit of getting saying shit. We both know you don't mean it. I just wanna post up and then kick it. Hear your ass coming here tripping. On and on about my Twitter notifications. I get these hoes too much attention. Damn, girl, you got me fucked up. I just wish that you would understand. I move different, I'm a different nigga. I don't want you to feel like I'm playing. Stop worrying about these other hoes, cause these other hoes don't fuck with you. I'm still here and we still with it. Mother hoes just something new. Been this shit all day, back and forth all day. Want this shit my way, want this shit your way. It's gon' be okay, this shit ain't okay. I'm tryna find a way, shawty, what's the way? Been at this for so long, what is there to say? It's always something wrong, Danny every day. Off and then we on, ain't got no time to play. Ain't tryna come strong, but shawty, what's the way? I used to the whole college, I seen a text. Why we still conversating about my ex? Girl, I'm about to block your ass, cause you keep calling this fucking up my GPS. We keep saying shit gon' be alright, but I don't know if it's worth the fight. Still trying to comprehend how we managed to argue, fuck all in the same night. Buy you all the shit that you like, but you say fuck that, you want my time. My time tight, but my bag right, so it's like I'm trying to compromise. I ain't been talking, but you know what's up. It's like a part of me don't give a fuck, but at the same time, the other part of me just wanna cave in and hit you up. You swear I'm so worried about these hoes, I ain't worried about not one of these hoes. Why you still calling if you ain't trying to let me talk, leave me the fuck alone? First fuck me, then it's fuck you, then you love me and I love you. You worried about these hoes and what lust do. You can't trust me, I can't trust you. No response cause now I'm like fuck it, I promise it's always something. Arguing on the phone with your crazy ass got me looking crazy in public. You claim that a nigga changed, but that first shit wasn't the same. Feel like I can't do this commitment shit, but all these other hoes fucking lame. Been at this shit all day, back and forth all day. Want this shit my way, want this shit your way. It's gon' be okay, this shit ain't okay. I'm tryna find a way, shawty, what's the way? Been at this for so long, what is there to say? It's always something wrong, Danny every day. Off and then we on, ain't got no time to play. Ain't tryna come strong, but shawty, what's the way? I ain't worried about these bitches. Fuck these hoes, no tripping. I fuck with you on a different level. I stuck around cause you was different. One thing that I can't stand about you is that you talk too much, you don't listen. That's why when you get to hit my line, I don't pay your ass no attention. It's real close to me leaving. I said this shit, not mean it. Told you that she was hating on you, had shit to say for a reason. Let me play it cool with my words. I don't care about what you heard. Know about your friends, petty ass pink shit, really getting on my nerves. This shit all day, back and forth all day. Want this shit my way, want this shit your way. It's gon' be okay. This shit ain't okay. I'm tryna find a way. Shawty, what's the way? Been at this for so long. What is there to say? There's always something wrong. Then every day, off and then we on. Ain't got no time to play. Ain't tryna come strong. But shawty, what's the way?
K-Classic.
It is a basic proposition for the Hindu. That only the self, the Godhead, is real. Only the self, the Godhead, is real. Only the self, the Godhead, is real. There is nothing other than the Godhead. There is nothing other than the Godhead. The appearance, the feeling that there are other things than the Godhead is called Maya. Is called Maya. Maya. We ordinarily translate that word illusion. But you must be careful about the word illusion. Illusion is related to the Latin ludere. And that means play. And this is why the analogy of the world is dramatic. It's a play. In the sense of a stage play. Now, when you go to the theater, you know what you're going to see is not for real. But the actor, and you will hope that he will be good at it, is going to try and persuade you that it's for real. So that he will so move you that you are crying or sitting in anxiety upon the edge of your chair. And so the audience is almost persuaded to be taken in. Now what about if this would happen with the very best actor of all? The great actor. The audience would of course be completely taken in. But in this case, of course, the actor and the audience are the same. The self. The self. The Godhead is real. Only the self, the Godhead is real. Only the self, the Godhead is real. Only the self, the Godhead is real. There is nothing other than the Godhead. There is nothing other than the Godhead.
Only the self, the Godhead is real. Only the self, the Godhead is real.
What do I do when I'm broken? When I'm broken, I relish it. I relish it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use it. Because if I'm broken, then I just found my limitations. And until I know what my limitations are, how can I push them? How can I get better? But once I feel it, once I see where I was broken, then I can attack that weakness. I can fill in that gap. I can reinforce that breach. If you break
all of those are gonna leave a mark. But the mark that they leave can be the mark of victory or it can be the mark of defeat. Because every time you break, and in every way that you break, it's a chance, it's definitely a chance for you to give up and for you to just to fall apart. But there's also opportunity. There's opportunity to get stronger, and get smarter, and get faster, and get tougher, and get more stable, and get more resilient, and get better. When I'm broken, I relish it. When I'm broken, I relish it. I relish it. When I'm broken, I relish it. When I'm broken, I relish it. I relish it. When you break, you have the opportunity to show the world, the whole world, what you are really made of.